Dexia, know you gonna kill this shit.
I was on mute. I said, all right, we are here. We're
Bro,
back again.
the Boston hasn't left you. You have left Boston.
The Boston hasn't left me, man. No, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back into natural habitat in my work slash YouTube room that I have. Nah, man, it's good to see some familiar faces. I've got Variaman, whose name is actually Aryaman, and I've got Ishan back again, and I've got the live chat. It's buzzing, man. We've got so much to talk about, and we're going to be cranking it up. But before all of that, big up to the live chat, first of all. Really missed you guys. Good to see you all in the live chat, just commenting away. I love it. I love it. Keep doing that. Absolutely keep doing that. And make sure you smash up the like button as well. And to see some familiar faces, Ishan and Aryam. And Ishan, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. So far, so good. Life has been
Mhm.
kind. Not particularly
That's
my
good.
football club, but we move. We move. We'll talk. We've got a lot to talk about.
Well, a lot to talk about already. Straight away, someone saying, "Why you laugh, me? Is your club is real now? Red Card FC." All right, well, fine. I won't laugh. I'll just cry. I guess you guys just want to see me cry. Aryaman, brother, how you doing?
Very well. How are you both doing? Like Ishan said, the football club hasn't been kind, but yes, cannot complain. Somehow got it over the line yesterday, but yes, lots to talk about. How's everyone feeling?
Lots to lots to talk about, man. Look, me personally, the holiday was nice just to get
Yeah.
away, spending a lot of time with family, just going to different places, eating different food, meeting lots of family. Yeah, it was good. It was really, really nice. And actually watching Premier League and Champions League matches in like during the daytime, like during midday or afternoon, it just felt so strange. Like to all the people that live in that side of the world, in America or in Canada, or basically that side of the world, I have to say, you've got it good. I know it can be a little bit strange if you're working, then how do you, sort of get around doing all of that? But if you're a full-time content maker, I think that's a fantastic situation to be, to have games at such a brilliant time. So yeah, me personally, I'm doing fine. Obviously, we'll talk about Chelsea Football Club, as Ishan said. It's in a very funny situation, and I've been feeling a little bit strange about the club, which honestly I didn't want to. Ishan, let's get cracking into it. All right, let's not bother people anymore with all these pleasantries that can go on forever.
Yeah.
Ishan, um, we won against Liverpool, right? And then straight after that, it was the international break. And
Yeah.
then after the international break, I was on holidays for a couple of weeks. So it's been a while since we got to talk in depth, but that Sunderland defeat, Ishan,
Mhm.
that really broke my heart, man. Like that really affected me. Like we've
Yeah.
lost previously this season, but I've always said, you know what, uh, we can more like the Jay Uso. You know how Jay Uso does. Like I thought we can always bounce back. We can, we've got it.
Yeah.
We've got it in us. But that Sunderland one, Ishan, I have to say, bro, I need to start talking. I mean, red cards. Obviously, we need to talk about red cards. What the f is going on with red cards? This is not this is not this is not normal, right? All the red cards that we're picking up. I've never seen this many red cards in a season, and it's such a young season as well. But Ishan, I want to start talking about this defending.
Yeah.
I see Bournemouth. I see Sunderland.
Yeah.
I think Bournemouth are second, and I think
Mhm.
Sunderland are somewhere. I can't remember. They're ahead of us.
Fourth. They are fourth,
They're fourth.
if I'm
Wow.
not wrong. Yeah.
And I get it. It's early. It's very early in the season. I understand. But how's Bournemouth? And I think Sunderland have only conceded 7 goals or something like that in the season so far. We've conceded, I think, 11. I don't exactly know how many Bournemouth conceded. Maybe a little bit more than us. But Bournemouth lost a lot of their defenders, man. Like they lost Zabernier to PSG. They lost Huijsen, the guy I like to call Saddam Hussein. Hussein, they lost him to Real Madrid. They lost many other players. Kerkez, also part of their defense. They lost Otara, I believe, up front. Ishan, bro, is it just our defenders are bad, or I see all these other teams like Sunderland and Bournemouth and other clubs as well. They tend
Yeah.
to be defending a lot better than us. What's going on here?
Now, Miss, first of all, I've got a lot to take off my chest, but I can't go past this. Okay. Virat Kohli, brother. He's saying, "Do you think Slot is getting sacked, brother? You must be getting worried of Gautam Gambhir being sacked or not, let alone the Arne Slot. You know what I mean? You need to be afraid of that." But yeah, let's move on, man. I think so. We are in a very scarce situation when it comes to defending. Miss, I've told you this before. You've gone to Boston, before your very pretty Boston tour that you had. We had the same problem. Defense was not very good. And 3 weeks later, you're back from Boston, but Chelsea isn't back in their, defensive duties and their defensive responsibilities the way they should have been. Now, the result has been really topsy-turvy, miss. And this is what the the progression for Chelsea in this entire season has been. It's really been topsy-turvy. It's really been ups and downs, and that's where the defense has taken a toll on Chelsea's result as well. We're inconsistent. Why? The defense is inconsistent, Miss. Now, it's funny that we are talking about defense, because every time I come into this show and talk about defense, I go back to the same point. We missed it in the transfer season. We missed it in the transfer window. And this is where we are lacking. The entire season is now taking a toll on us. People didn't hear me, but it's okay. I'm here to remind them time and time again. Miss, I think so. It's now something which is not a Maresca's fault, I'd like to say. Because the things that I've seen on the pitch is, what else can Maresca do? He's tried every combination that he can, right? There are certain individuals, and especially the center backs in the team, the center backs that we should have relied upon heavily going into this season are those same similar individuals who are, just flushing it out in the middle of the pitch, time and time again, game in, game out. Miss, the way last season ended, yeah, we thought
Mhm.
Chaloba, Tosin, these guys should have led the entire team, right? In terms of the not just their defensive abilities, but also as a character, as a personality, as leaders in the group. Because they're experienced, man. Tosin is like 28. He's on his prime years, right? Chalaba also somewhat near about, right? And he's highly experienced as well. Now, if someone of these two stature of defenders come out and make mistakes time and time again, and very visibly so, it demoralizes the entire team, and this is exactly what's happening now. Of course, there is always a question that whenever Tosin makes a mistake, there'll be a question, oh, Maresca, why did you bring him in? When Chaluba makes a mistake, there's always a question, oh, Maresca, why did you bring in Chaluba? Who else has Maresca got to bring in onto that pitch? I don't think so he has much options, and I don't think so the other options left are, will bring that much change to what we already have. At the end of the day, miss, it's unfortunate that the defense has let us down in multiple games, miss, multiple games, and I don't understand one thing, that why do we capitulate with these long throws, these long balls, and set pieces? I don't know what's this new pattern that we've developed. Any team, and in fact, the teams, miss, who do not even know how to do a long ball, they'll purposely do a long ball, forcefully do a long ball, I mean, just to put fears in our heads. And that's exactly what's
Okay.
happening.
So before I bring in Aryaman, a couple of things you said here, Ishan. We need to think about this a lot deeper. I feel like we need to think about this a lot deeper. Ishan, you see Liverpool. Who are their centre backs?
Van Dijk, Konate.
Why are they conceding so many goals?
Because Konate has been shit. In fact, both of them have been.
So there's
But
fundamentally
they have their fullbacks as well, who are new and who are not, probably supporting the centre backs. The entire backline is getting a derailed.
What I'm trying to get to is, it's not always about having the best defenders, going out in the market and buying the best available players. I think it also comes down to, what do you do in the training ground? Because how are people like Sunderland only considered 7 in the Premier League, Ishan? How is this? You're telling me before the start of the season, you're looking at the Sunderland defenders and you're looking at the Chelsea defenders and you're going, yeah, they're the ones who are going to keep more clean sheets than us. Well, they're the ones who are going to concede less than us now. You're telling me you're looking at, I think there was another team that's almost got the same sort of goals conceded as us. I can't remember exactly which team. You're telling me that team has better defenders. Now, I'm not saying our defenders are the greatest. I never said that in the start of this season. I said they're better. They can work together as a unit. But what I'm trying to get to, Ishan, as you said, what else can Maresca do? Well, Maresca has been seeing from the start of this season till now the same individual mistakes continuously happening, right? Either Tosin jockeying back and not really being aggressive, or either Chalaba, not winning an aerial duel, this, that, the other. What are these guys doing as a unit in the training ground? Because Ishan, I find it hard to believe that Sunderland players are better defenders than us. Like Sunderland defenders are better defenders than us. Like I really find it hard, and I don't think. And this is why I made the comparison. Liverpool, even with Van Dijk and Konate, they look so flimsy right now because structurally there's something wrong there. Structurally, they're not. Van Dijk does the same thing as Tossen's doing. Van Dijk doesn't engage. Van Dijk keeps jogging. He's jogging and like he keeps tracking back. For some reason, there's no aggression. If you look at the way we defend, and I don't mean aggression being reckless, go in and tackle, pick up a yellow. We're going to get to the red cards because we've been picking up red cards. But I feel like our defending doesn't really scare any of the opposition the way we defend. We defend in a very, look at the way we concede. And I want to bring in Aryaman right now. Aryaman, the Wolves game. And we can talk about all the other games as well, but we talk about the Wolves game now, right? Look at the way Wolves scored their first goal. I think it was a throw-in, right? It was a long throw-in, header from someone near post, goes to the far, middle, someone then flicks it onto the far post, and then why is not a single Chelsea player winning any of the ball here? Like long throw, Wolves player wins the ball, and then the second ball that fell in the middle of the box was for the Wolves player. Why aren't we reacting quicker? You know what I'm trying to say? And then, you didn't react quick in the middle. Then the ball goes out wide. Why isn't anyone closing that shot? Everyone's so compact, wanting to maintain this line to make sure that maybe we can get on offside and giving these people a free hit for a shot. I feel like there's fundamentally something wrong here. It cannot just be the fact, look, don't get me wrong. I just did a video a few days ago saying, truth bomb, these defenders are nonsense. Like, I fully agree that Tosin, Chalobah, they're starting to look very, very funny to me. But I feel we should be defending a lot better. I really do feel that.
Absolutely, Miz. So the first goal that we conceded was a gift to them. Bonanotte lost the ball in midfield, gave it away, and then break up play. And
that was
then,
the first one.
but then the second goal, you're absolutely bang on, right, Miz? There were 3 moments where we could have won the second ball, and when we don't do that, we let the other team score. And the similar thing happened against Sunderland, right, where we conceded via a long throw. And
the first one, the first goal,
yeah. So Liverpool also have that habit of not being that tight and aggressive enough, just like you mentioned. And you could see the second goal that Sunderland also scored against us against the run of play, where Tosin was just not aggressive enough to get the ball off him. Right, you give him acres of space, you give him so much time to then think up and chop up an idea, and then is just all hell breaks loose. Right, so. Defensively, we've been just very, very shaky. Couple points just which come to my head was, of course, why aren't we looking to solve certain of these aspects which are very basic in nature, right? Why aren't we solving these aspects in training? Why is there no leadership at the back? Uncle Tosin, who used to be our boss all through last season, and someone who we probably might have depended on going into this season with Colville out injured. He's the one who's got to have your back. He's got to be the backbone here. He's the mature figure in this group. You cannot expect Aki Mpong to come in and play that leadership role. He can only do as much as he can, given the stage that he is in his career right now. He's 19, and we're expecting far too much from him. And looks like Tosin might have probably lost his place in the side. I don't really see him starting games for us very, very frequently as he used to. Remember last year when Fofana got out injured around December, is when Tosin and Chalobah used to share minutes. Chalobah was called back from loan, and the two used to share minutes. But now we can't seem to depend on anyone. It's not even pointing a finger at one player in Tosin here, but even Chalobah doesn't look really great. To me, even Hatto hasn't probably come in and delivered, which I might have probably anticipated. back in the beginning of the season when he was one of the high profile center backs all through Europe, consistently delivering for Ajax, captaining the side, but it's been a bit lackluster, right? And that's been the theme for us defensively.
If anything, I think Hato probably in recent times, I feel he probably has done better. To in
He's done
his
better,
favor,
but the base,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, look,
No,
not obviously to the utmost standard, but at the same time in
Hmm.
Ajax, I think he was a left back anyway. But Ishan, just going back to your point, to what Aryaman has also been saying,
yeah.
is this all basically can only be solved through the transfer market? Is it only the fault of the directors and the owners not getting these? Like, is that what it is? Like, simply January window comes in, we get an elite defender, and all of a sudden we are keeping clean sheets. Is that how simple this is?
Now, Steve, that's the $1 million question. How do you solve it? Because the mistakes are not just a one-way traffic, right? Like from my perspective, it's more of the individual mistake, right? From your perspective, it might be majority of the tactical and fundamentals and Maresca's responsibility. The thing is, it's the combination of both, Mays. We are not just conceding by virtue of individual mistakes. We're also conceding because of those long balls, those inconsistencies with keeping the set pieces, and that's nothing to do with the individual mistakes, but it's the mix and match of both. Now, how do we solve it?
Mm.
The first one, which is your point, is that we shouldn't be conceding from like Aryaman said, right? The third goal, I think so, the final goal. There were three opportunities for us to take the ball away, but nobody responded. It seems like something is fundamentally wrong, right? Mr. John Martson says Koulibaly was elite and he looked like a scrub again. 100%. Look, I mean, the point here is, Miss, how do we expect us to get better when there are same set of players doing the same mistakes game in game out, right? Now Tosin was good earlier on, then he became out of nowhere. What's happened to Tosin, I really don't know. He's became so bad. And when it comes to Chaloba, I'm so pissed at him, man. Means he had
Mm.
a golden opportunity. Guys, think about this. Chaloba had the golden opportunity to cement his place at this center back position. Not just that, increase his stocks and probably aim for a bigger club if you'd see yourself going into a better club, knowing the fact that Levi Colwell's coming. He had such a golden opportunity, man, and he's wasting it just like that. He had no competition at all, and even he doesn't even have it now. It's just that he's just not choosing to focus. So now, I mean, my point would be that listening to us, it would seem like it's only the individual mistake. It's not. I 100% agree to Miss as well that there are something fundamentally wrong which should be cleared, because it seems like the entire team gets out of focused. Or remember, Miz, in the last show we talked about, when we are logged in we are good to beat any team in the world, and when we are logged out it seems like everything derails, right? So this is exactly what's
Mhm.
happening. It seems like there are certain situations like set pieces, like those long balls, we just snooze, we just go into snooze mode. I don't know what happens. There are opportunities to take the ball out, but we don't take it. Seems like the entire team is nervous, their legs are shaking. I don't know what they're doing, that their brains are not there on the ball. I don't know what just happens. Somewhere, somehow, the opponents are managed to get a goal out of those situations, and it's crazy, man. Now, how do we solve it? Miss, the thing with the transfer market is, now looking at the scarcity of defenders that we have, Colwell is injured. With Achampong, whose game time management needs to be looked, at the priority. Tosin on and off, sometimes injured, sometimes not. Chalaba, uh, Bill, I mean, it's always a run of poor forms, and then you'll have just a good game here and there, and then he goes again and run of poor form. So it's inconsistent to a next level, right? Now the point here is, if he had one more proper center back to play for, at least he would have had option to bring in that player and just to check whether how things are going, whether it's stabilizing or not. Because now moving forward to the next game is, would you be confident having someone like a Tosin at the center back? I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I already posted on X the other day that I don't want to see Tosin start or come from the bench anymore. Look, I fully agree and understand that there is lackings in our centre back, right?
Yeah.
But I do like this comment here from Royston saying the Premier League is changing. Teams are going more direct and not adapting. I definitely think we haven't adapted yet well enough. And this is why, see, adaptation. Where does adaptation come from? Adaptation for me is dependent on the manager. To adapt something, to adapt a particular new notion, which is long throws, set pieces, this, that, the other, right? You need the coaches to help and come up with a structure as to how to best negate this situation. I don't necessarily think you can just quickly go to the market and solve that. You can bring in quality from the market who have better attributes to the ones that we have. But once again, I reiterate by going back into this table to both Ishan and Aryaman, forget about Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal, they've got much better defenders than us. 3 goals conceded. Bournemouth. Can any of you guys say that Bournemouth defenders are better? And to the live chat as well. Bournemouth defenders, would you have said that they're better? Or is Iraola doing a far better job in terms of defending? Now, I saw someone say in the live chat, Miz, you got to give Enzo Maresca slack. This is his second season. I'm not asking for Enzo Maresca to be sacked or anything like that. All I'm saying is, could he and his, management staff do better? Because Bournemouth have conceded 11 goals. Tottenham, probably you'd say, lads, they have better defenders than us. Would you agree? Mickey van der Ven, Romero. You'd probably
Well,
say
they're
they've
doing
got better
they're doing
Maybe
better than
couple
us at the moment, but maybe not by the names.
I would probably say maybe they have better defenders. I like Van der Ven is a better defender.
Van der Ven
I
is a
think
better defender. Yeah.
Romero is also a better defender, in my opinion, and experienced as well. Sunderland 7 conceded. You wouldn't say Sunderland defenders are better defenders than us, would you? Right? Man City. This is the same Man City that was conceding a lot of goals last season as well. Right? And I don't necessarily think they've added a lot of centre backs. I think they've added Kusanov, and Kusanov doesn't really start. But they're keeping more clean sheet. Man United defenders. Would you say Man United defenders are better than our defenders? Ariman? Would you say Man United defenders are better than our
Maybe Euro
defenders?
is good. Maguire is getting in the goods now. But overall, I think
Would you
on
not
paper, we
say
are better.
Would you not say De Ligt is better?
Better than probably Tosin. Not right now, Miss. And probably not better than Chalobah either.
De
In terms of
Ligt,
potential,
you-
Chalobah has shown that. But De Ligt has been here and there. It's been a hit and a miss.
Really?
But yes.
I would say their defense is probably better than ours in terms of names and what they've, what type of experience they have compared to ours. But look at that. Look at this point. They've conceded 14. Ishan, would you say Man United, De Ligt, Euro? Who else they got? Harry Maguire doesn't really
Harry
start.
Maguire.
He doesn't really start. He doesn't really start. So it's De Ligt, Euro. Who's the other guy? Is that Harry Maguire? Is he the one that starts?
It is Harry Maguire. Means he's been starting off games for United recently.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been decent in
Ishan.
fact. He's been played decent. So
Ishan, they've conceded 14, and I believe they have better defenders than us. Would you agree that they have better defenders than us?
The better question is, Miz, I'd just twist it a bit and I'd say that would you take someone like a Matthias de Ligt in Chelsea? I would take him in a heartbeat.
But see, Ishan, this is the point that I'm trying to make. You've just said that you take Matthias de Ligt in a heartbeat, but Man United have conceded more goals than us.
Yes, but maybe keep bringing someone like a Matthias de Ligt. stops the individual mistakes that we are doing from someone like a Tosin. You know what I mean? At least we are getting stable from one section rather than
I hear
being
that.
open to two sections. Now
I hear
we're
that.
conceding
I
in
hear
two
that.
states, right? One is all those set pieces and those long balls, and of course being not being structurally solid, right? But at least those
Mhm.
individual mistakes gets swiped away with someone like a Delict.
Yeah. So yeah, I can understand the individual mistakes could get swiped away, but and I guess if you look at our goals that we've conceded, a lot of them are probably individual mistakes. It's just I just find it very, very strange that there is so many individual mistakes, man. So many, which really, really annoys me. And as I said, going to Liverpool as well, they've conceded more than us, and they seem to have better defenders than us. How are they conceding more? Um, Aston Villa, I agree, they definitely have better defenders than us, and they've conceded less. So that scenario actually makes sense. Aston Villa, that scenario definitely makes sense to me that they've got better defenders and they've conceded less. Um, What's the overall verdict? And to the live chat as well, before we start talking about the red card situation. Aryaman, I'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Ishan, and I'll give my verdict. Do you think it's January window, get rid of some of these defenders that we have, buy, because that's the other thing, Aryaman. We're not going to go and buy the most elite defender. It's going to be another young defender under this ownership, directorship. They're not going to spend 70, 80 million on a top class defender. And I don't even know who are some of the top class defenders at the moment. Do you think it's as simple as just go to the market, get a couple of CBs, and Bob's your uncle? We'll be back.
Probably not. Probably does not solve it for us. I think I'll go back to your previous point that you made, Miss. That I think, and I think that's also a point that Royston made very, very brilliantly there. That modern ways of attacking and breaking up play, breaking up the opposition has evolved. So I'll give you a stat here, and I was reading this very interesting article on how attacking has evolved in the Premier League. So this season, 27% of the balls have come in as long throws, and long balls have been launched into the box, right? That percentage is 27% as opposed to 13% last season, and the early 2000s that figure was 6%. So teams are starting to launch long balls into the opposition box to cause
Yeah.
trouble, because that's what happens when you analyze the goal against Sunderland, and I'm talking about the long throws only here, the long throw against Sunderland and the long throw that we conceded yesterday. Both were
You can even
scrappy.
throw in Brentford as well. They did the long
A
throw.
lot of those examples are possible if you look at the last 5 to 10 games that we've had. But that pattern wasn't there when you look at the first 5 games that we played in the Premier League. It wasn't to that extent that we were so vulnerable to long throws coming in, set pieces, we looking shaky. People don't know what their roles are, who's supposed to be front post, who's supposed to be back post, where is the keeper supposed to be, is he supposed to come out and collect certain of these long balls that come in. Whenever they do that, they flap their hands. You could see Jorgensen do that on multiple occasions whenever he's played, right? He's never looked convincing for the aerial ball that comes into the box. And when
Mhm.
you have such a high proportion of balls coming in by these so-called mid-table teams who are causing trouble, because that's not how a traditional Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Manchester City would launch an attack on us. They would be very methodical when it comes to their build-up, just like Barcelona also do, ball to feet, right? That's the way they attack, very structured in their way of attacking,
Mhm.
got a principle in mind, as opposed to certain of these teams who we've struggled against. They just find a way to launch the ball into the box, and then they have this old Englishman center forward who's out there, who's just being a bully in front of our center backs, who just don't know what to do. Then one backs off,
Mm.
another is in charge, the others then just looking at the other. Okay, you're supposed to deal with that, am I supposed to deal with that? And then turns out no one deals with that. Right? So
Mm.
it's a training issue. It's more of a football principle issue. I don't think one signing can come in and change it unless it's a Thiago Silva figure. And we've all seen that as Chelsea fans. If there's one figure who can then just come in there as a boss. People respect him around. When
like
he
a
walks into the
Sergio Ramos, like a Ramos,
right,
like a Thiago Silva, like a Puyol, one of these beasts. Maybe then
right.
there's a difference maker. So
There's a
I
difference maker. There's
absolutely
someone
hear you.
who people respect, look up to, because he does the talking. He does the talk on the pitch, right? He leads by example. He takes command of those balls that we looked very shaky in terms of getting it out of our box and neutralizing a threat. I think that's what we miss right now. Another thing which I probably feel is, probably could we have kept Mamadou Sarr? Could he have come in handy? Because when you look at the left centre back position, I think when Benoit Badiashile is out injured, and then Hato's progressive play hasn't been convincing enough, and then we're just looking for alternatives in terms of right-footed centre backs being deployed on the left side, so they can't progress the ball. And that's another thing which is very, very structurally oriented and specific to Maresca. Just like you pointed out, it's Maresca's rigidity at times which probably forces us to play this way. But having said that, if that's the structure in place, probably have a left-footed centre back who can then get those extra bits, involve the others into play. There are a lot of times where our number 10s hold back deeper to receive balls in deeper positions and then build out attacks, similar to the goal that we scored against Liverpool, where Moises and Gusto had that great intricate play. But who found the ball for Moises Caicedo in midfield? It was Benoit Badiashile. We miss him. We miss his presence. As simple as that. A left-sided, left-footed centre back who might even look shaky, but he creates a few opportunities for us, kills the game off. So even if football is a game where you need to win by a goal. End of the day, let's just talk about the basics, right? We have to win by a goal. You have to be a goal above the opposition. How does that happen? You either score 4 and the other team scores 3, you can win the game. But if you even, let's say, score 4 goals, but you end up conceding 5, that does not uh, get you the victory, right? So at times it is about being further up against the opposition when it comes to either way. You find defensively or attacking. You've got to find.
Do you know what? Look, I think what you've emphasized a lot here is on the ball stuff. Like, I'm not actually worried about on the ball with our centre backs. Yes, Liverpool provides a lot more. I'm concerned about off the ball. I'm concerned about what we are doing in terms of defending, pure defending, and as a group as well. I don't want to just go off at. If you look at the way we considered that final goal against Sunderland, the winner, obviously Tosin was horrible. But what was Chalobah doing as a centre back partner? What are you doing? You're not really close to Tosin to ensure that whoever the Sunderland striker was who held the ball up and everything, like to close him, and you're not really even like marking the guy who eventually gets the ball. Like, Chalobah was in a no man's land. And then you look at Reece James, jogging, lethargic, not really, defending with a lot of desire. My honest feeling is, look, and I'm going to go to Ishan very, very soon, and then we'll talk about red cards. There is definitely a lack of quality. All right, I've considered that. I thought at the start of this season, I'm going to back these defenders, and I thought I saw enough to say that they can produce consistency, and they've absolutely fooled me this season that they can't produce consistency. Well, one thing they can produce consistency on is consistently being poor. That's what they've shown.
You'll say red cards.
Oh, well, that too. So I know there's a lack of quality, but I also feel there's a lack of hunger to keep clean sheets. Like 1-0 against Sunderland. Arsenal was similarly 1-0 against Crystal Palace. Look at their defenders. And once again, I am not comparing Arsenal defenders to add. What I'm saying is the hunger. Look at the hunger to keep a clean sheet these Arsenal defenders have, or other teams have. Where's our hunger to keep a 1-0 victory? We get that early goal against Sunderland. Where's the hunger? We got 3 goals against Wolves in the first half, I believe. Where's the hunger to let's defend and let's see this game out in a, in a clean sheet? This is what I mean. Like, Ishan, me personally, I don't think the market just helps us. I do need to blame something here to Maresca. I need to put some blame on Maresca, and not just him, the entire supporting crew, the entire management crew. That I don't think enough emphasis has been put on defending this season. I think Maresca, as soon as Livakovic was injured, he spat the dummy out. He wanted a new defender. He never got that from our owners, our sporting directors. And now this is the state of our defense. I need our manager to go back into the drawing board and really start focusing on telling the players need to be hungry to defend, show the desire to keep clean sheets. And me personally, excuse me, I don't think the market just automatically helps us. Ishan, what's your final thoughts on this topic before we go to red cards?
Miss, I remember, back in the Antonio Conte era. You remember when you had a chain of very bad run? We were losing left, right, and center. Antonio Conte then switched it to a back three, and then things started to stabilize. And then the iconic back three.
The substitution when Alonso goes through.
Yeah. The iconic moment. Yeah. The point was not the back three. It has nothing to do with the formation and all. What I'm saying is, after that change, you would remember, I guess. I think so. It was the next matches pre-match conference, which Antonio Conte came out and said that don't be surprised if we go out and aim for a 0-0 draw, because you don't know at this point of time how important is a clean sheet for me. That's what he said, right? And I think so. This is where we're coming back to full circle. At this point of time, for me, clean sheet is so important, Miss, because that will bring the confidence in these boys and just the belief. Again, we're talking about the individual ability, right? And the individual mistakes. Was this like right from day one? Chalobah wasn't like this, Miss. Neither was Tosin, neither was Badia Shield, neither was Achampong, right? These guys have played good for the club, right? These guys have played good. These guys have produced well. These guys have put on a clean sheet performances game in, game out. It's just that they are not being able to focus. Now, this definitely contradicts to my point that what I'm saying. But the point is, if you're not being able to do that or bring back your A game for a good chain of games, then brother, there has to be alternatives in the team, because nobody and nobody in the team should be complacent and take their place for granted. I think so these boys are at some point of time, because I don't think so they're relishing that if the team is ahead 1 goal, 2 goal, or even 3 goal, they start snoozing in the middle of the pitch. Who gives you the right to do that? And I mean, just look at 1 goal, Miz, that second Sunderland goal, right? It totally, summarizes the entire story of our defense. Very well summed up by you and Aryaman as well. That, there was one state where Tosin could have done a lot. He didn't. And that led to a goal. That is all with regards to the individual ability and capabilities, right? To stop a ball or to make a decision at that point of time, and then probably avoid the situation that happened later on. That is individual brilliance. That is something that Maresca cannot do, or anybody in the training, or it cannot do, right? It's just an individual instinct. Now, your point, Miss, which you said that what were the others doing? Where was the fullbacks? Where was the defensive midfielder? Where was Chalobah? This comes up with the the entire structure or the fundamentals that is going wrong, and this is where the training has to come. So that goal, Miss, summarizes the entire defense. That neither the individual brilliance is working, neither the structure is working to help us out. Not concede goals. Everything has derailed in each and every goal that you'd see. You'll see that these are the areas that we are lacking, and it's so much evident right now that it's become a pattern. It's become a regularity rather than a pattern. It's become an every game thing, man, and it's scary at this point of time, because you see the teams who are not used to long throws are purposely coming out and doing long throws just to annoy our defenders and get goals like that. This is not good. This is not good. You'll have to come up with something good as a team, as a unit, as a manager, as individuals right there, or else it's going to be difficult. And you know what the next aim is? I'm okay for a 0-0. Get me a clean sheet first, then I'll have confidence on the defense going forward in the next game, and then at least build up some more points. But if we're going to concede, we're going to score, because the creation at this point of time does not matter. The problem is we are leaking left, right, and center, and that has to stop. The leakage has to stop first. So I'll be content with a 0-0, but give me a clean sheet to get the defense back, and structure it back to where it was, or else going forward is going to be a difficult thing. Why? Because you scored 4 against Wolves. Don't expect that back in the Premier League. You to score 4 or 5 if you're conceding 3-4. That's not going to happen every game, man.
Bro, we got Spurs next, and I believe Spurs scored a couple of set pieces against Aston Villa last match week. So I'm sure the same tactics will be deployed by Spurs as well. And knowing Thomas Frank from Brentford days, he likes a bit of set pieces. I'm sure of it. So we need to get better, or else this is going to become a big problem, which I don't think is necessarily going to be solved by just bringing in any defender. I think structurally we need to place ourselves a lot better. Obviously, the individual mistakes don't help, and that can be eradicated by getting new defenders. But look, whatever the case is, we need to put a lot more emphasis on actually defending better. All right, let's now talk about the next topic: red cards. I'll go to you, Ariaman. Ariaman, I looked at Liam Delap's red card. I'm actually shocked. And even the Malo Gusto one, the one before this, I think against Nottingham Forest, Enzo Maresca came out post-match saying he actually told Liam Delap 3 or 4 times to calm down. And he still continued. And his second yellow was an elbow. This guy, I get it. You haven't been involved in the game for a while. You've been injured. You come in, your adrenaline is high. Adrenaline is high. You're wanting to impress a lot. But it's not just Delap. There seems to be a bit of an issue. This red card situation, we can say maybe 1, twice, 3 times max. But when it's 4, 5, 6 times, as a manager, once again, I have to say, Enzo Maresca, are you not talking about red cards? Are you not? Because that could have become a problem for us. Being down a man, Wolves were playing very good in the second half. That could have potentially become a problem for us. Luckily, it didn't, and Gittins put on a banger of a shot to make it, 4-4-2, and then eventually they got that third one. But it seems like either Enzo Maresca can't seem to get a grip of this lot properly, or some of this lot, even when Enzo Maresca is telling them not to do this, they're just not following instructions. Are you concerned about the amount of red cards that we're picking up? Especially the one from Liam Delap. That looked outrageous to me.
That was horrendous. Oh, absolutely. I completely echo with your thought. If this is a pattern that continues, it's trouble. We've had 5 red cards in the last 9 games, and that does not include the manager getting sent off also. So you can count 6 red cards. It's embarrassing to a point, don't you think? I mean, even yesterday, and like you mentioned, had that red card happened around the 70th minute, 65th minute, there was half an hour of football left to be played with 10 men for us, and it could have been a very similar story. And honestly, it would have been very embarrassing for us if we would have been knocked out by a Wolves side that have picked up 2 points in the Premier League so far, and that was quite a possibility had we been down to 10 men, because that elbow was probably a straight red. I don't think it is just a case that he was on a yellow earlier, but that in itself was a straight red. And in fact, even the first foul that he committed which was a push, it was more of a orange territory. It was
Mm.
between a yellow and a red, right? So it's not like these things are happening with us due to bad luck. It's just misjudgment. It's not behaving yourself when you're supposed to, and not keeping your discipline. And it has costed us games in the past. Probably did not cost us a result yesterday, but then uh, Delap misses out against Tottenham, and that's the important bit. We at times lost out on players who could have been potentially been used for the next games, but they've been suspended unfortunately, and we've anyways lacked a lot of players in certain of these positions due to injuries all through the season. Palmer is out, and then we've had João Pedro, who was also red carded against Ajax. So it's a continuing theme. It's not just one
Mm.
position or one sort of player who's committing these crimes, right? For us, so to say, but it's costing the team. It has become a trend, and we're known to probably have a bad reputation now.
No, 100%, man. It's not just costing the team. Like, how, Ishan, how's the manager not got the hold of this yet? Like, you know, I try and relate some of these footballing situations to real life situation. Ishan, at our workplace and to Aryaman as well. If we make a mistake, the manager will come and tell us, "Hey, you're making a mistake. Just don't do it again." Okay, you accidentally do it the second time. They come and say, "Hey, be careful because I can't afford this, or else I need to do something about this situation." Oh, third time, fourth time, fifth time, the manager himself also gets red card. That one, I give him a bit of a pass because he got excited. It was the winner. It's the rule sucks, but it is what it is. But all the other players that are getting red carded, Ishan, like, are these players don't respect the manager, or is the manager not being able to get through the message to these? Because he came out post match, Ishan, and said, "I told Dilap 3 or 4 times to calm down." Why didn't Dilap calm down?
Now, this red card situation has become very interesting, and it's made the entire conversation very interesting. You know why? Because it raises a question on Maresca and his, has he lost his control over the dressing room? Because the same thing is when Gusto made that mistake, he came out and said that this shouldn't have been done, and this should have been controlled, and we'll make sure that it doesn't happen, or something of that sort, right? Because that also was the most unnecessary red cards that you'll see, right?
Unnecessary. Yeah.
That should have been the last. And Maresca very well said that there are certain cases that it's out of your control. Like you understand that situation and you be like, all right, fine, it's a red card, right? Of course, it's always argumentative, debatable, but then still you understand the situation. For example, that Man United red card, right? Those are still like understandable. You understand that, all
Yeah.
right, been situation. Yes, there are ifs and buts, but understood. Gusto, absolutely unnecessary, right? Maresca should have done there something so that the entire dressing room gets a lesson from it, that these
Mm.
unnecessary things cannot be tolerated at all. Brother, have a responsibility that the club that you're playing for, the patch that you're representing, there is only 11 of you guys in the pitch there. Counted 11, right? Selected
Mm.
from all around the world, the probably the best of the players to represent a club that you're put on there, on the pitch to win every game that you want. Now you're not, forget about the performance and everything. That is secondary, miss. Whatever we spoke about in the previous sections and the back performances, that is all secondary. For you as a
Mm.
responsible player who's taking salaries from the club, you're responsible to go out there and at least give it your 100% in terms of performing for the club, not being
Mhm.
reckless, getting yourself a red card, and then be like the most irresponsible crack in the middle of the pitch, and being unavailable for the next game. There are so many examples that I can make you count, miss,
Mm.
that red cards have derailed forget a match, an entire season for teams. Entire
Yeah.
season for teams, right? L- Just a small example of what Nicholas Jackson did last season. You'd remember that red card in the Premier League against Newcastle,
Yeah.
if it was,
Newcastle.
and such an
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
important game that was, right? Thankfully, we somehow, somewhere managed to get a top four, but that was such a crucial game and it could have
Yeah.
derailed us, right? This is where I'm trying to, the point I'm trying to make. And this is the exact situation, Miss. We are already, the entire club is succumbed to so many injuries. We are lackluster because so many players are out. Your star player Cole Palmer is out. You yourself as a player, Liam Delap, you yourself as a player, you've been out for so many days. You've come back to prove a point. At least
Yeah.
be available for the team. You were available for like what, 15, 20 minutes? That's what you were. Or maybe you've
And
enjoyed your off time and you want some more.
and you got yourself unavailable for the Tottenham game, which is a very important game.
Exactly my point, means that's what I'm telling you. There are red cards that I'm telling you I've seen derail a team's entire season, and ambition has been killed of a team for an entire season. What will Maresca do in the next match? Go back to the same backhole tactics? Who to play up front? Mark you might or might not play. I don't know. Maybe someone like a Joao Pedro will play up top. Who will play in the number 10? Nobody knows. Again, those same questions. Now it's not even a matter of injury that you can understand and try to negotiate. It's about a red card, a silly, stupid red card that shouldn't have been in the first place. Forget about the two yellows. It shouldn't even have been a yellow, a single yellow. It shouldn't have, why are you being reckless? What is the point of being so reckless? We're leading, no? Aren't we leading? Don't you have your eyes? Can't you look at the scoreboard? Is it showing a flip score or something? Like, was Wolves
And
3 and Chelsea nil?
and also, Ishan, they talk about dark arts. Brother, the whole idea of dark arts is don't get caught. You're getting caught. You
Miss, the
cannot call
idea
it dark
dark,
arts when you're doing it right in front of the referee.
Miss, the idea of dark arts is something that I can understand when you're playing a game against someone like an Arsenal or Liverpool, not as of now, but then yes, as a whole, Man United, Man City, where the atmosphere is very dense, it's very critical atmosphere. The games are very critical to win. The defense is not very easy to penetrate. Everybody is at the A game. You are bloody leading 3 goals to nil. What is the
Yeah.
what is the use of you even getting a yellow card, man?
We don't need dark arts when
Where
there's
are
3
your
nil.
brains? Even a dumb brain wouldn't commit like that. Man, you've got a yellow, and I would be okay, right? You got a yellow, behave, man. You're back after so long. Behave. You're on a yellow. Something should come up to your dumb brains that yes, I'm on a yellow. I've come back for long. The team needs me. Forget about me performing or not. That's secondary. But the team needs me desperately. I'm on a yellow. Better behave myself. I might as well just stand in one place and be available in the next game rather than committing something like this and be out and jeopardize the entire team, right? Bro, this is like crazy. I've lost all my respect for Liam Delap. I'm sorry. Whatever he might come out tomorrow and score a hat trick on 3 days games later. I don't care, man. I've lost the respect for Liam Delap.
You know what? I agree, man. I agree. That look, I still rate Dilap. I think he can be a fantastic striker. I was very happy with the purchase of Dilap, but Arya, man, if Dilap, if that is like, we used to blame Nicholas Jackson for doing that kind of nonsense stuff, trying to do all these stupid, idiotic things. I don't mind Dilap trying to be physical. I don't mind him shoulder to shoulder against centre backs, shoving them away. But brother, this isn't WWE. Like, we have a separate, there's a separate, altogether show on Netflix where we can watch WWE. We don't need it on football. Like, Liam Delap, I feel like, yes, use your physicality, yes, use your power, but know what the limitations are. Don't just be so reckless and pick up unnecessary yellow cards. Like, these yellow cards down the track, the more you keep picking, that piles up as well. And then the fifth one will get you suspended. And you don't want to be suspended in a big game. Look, I understand you might get the odd yellow card here and there. I get that. But all of these red cards is just, for me, Spurs game coming up. Am I meant to be worried that can we finish the game with 11 versus 11, or are we? Is someone? I mean, that game, Chelsea Spurs. Historically, you just feel that maybe there's a red card there. Someone's getting a red card, and the way we are going, You can already like look at the pattern. You can already put us down maybe for one of the red cards. You know what I mean? This is a problem,
Yeah.
man. A real problem.
It is the real problem, I think, is I'm lost for words, really. I mean, we've never really seen a trend like this ever in the past, where so many red cards, and there is, and probably this after this match, after the game against Wolves, is probably the first time that Enzo Maresca even acknowledged the fact that yes, now this is getting to an embarrassing level, right? Earlier,
Mm.
he was still trying to protect the players and say that yeah, they take responsibility for what they're doing. They realize their mistake. We have a little chat about it, and then it's all back to the same place again. But now is probably the first time where he's acknowledged and come out there and said that no, Gusto was unnecessary, Liam Delap, that was unnecessary. It it has costed us in the past, and if this kind of continues, it will cost us in the future as well.
Mm.
It's for everyone to see, right? I mean, it's not something that is hidden. It is a reality, and we need to improve. We need to put in 5 games without getting a red card. We need that
That's
five
crazy.
games streak without a red card, and then we can be proud of it, and then we look back at this episode and say yes, we've made some progress at least there. And then defensively we're starting to get better. You know what? And let's look at the broader picture. Okay, so
Mhm.
after we beat Liverpool, and we came back after the international break, when you looked at the fixtures that we had planned for October, November, going into November, and going into the November international break again. Those were not fixtures I was very nervous about, if you
No,
ask me.
me neither. Me neither.
On paper, I
Me
felt
neither.
yes, these are results in the bag. I am a Chelsea Football Club fan. I am trying for a top 4 slot in the Premier League. Why not probably try and contest for second or third, make a mark in the Champions League, top 8, semi-finals, cup competitions, be strong there. You've got a great squad. You didn't have such a great squad back when Pochettino or Potter were in charge. They were not blessed to have such great talent, such a great second string side. If you look at yesterday's side and compare that to what Potter or Pochettino had at his disposal, there's a big difference in quality there. There's a big difference in options. I'm not talking about defenders because there's a lack there in terms of depth, but in terms of midfielders and in terms of attackers, there's definitely a lot there. But then
Mhm.
the way you somehow struggle to pick up wins. It was Ajax who went down to 10 men after 15 minutes, which is probably one of the reasons why that game ended as a 5-1. Could have been probably closer. Can argue there. Nottingham Forest 3-0, but then again, the red card there. But then if you look at the trajectory, the fact that we dropped points against Sunderland, in fact, we lost to them. Not that wasn't even dropping points with way of a draw, but we lost to them, and then the way we got a result somehow yesterday makes me nervous for Tottenham, makes me nervous for a Karabakh. I shouldn't be nervous for Karabakh. I shouldn't be nervous
Mm.
for Wolves at home uh, to end the run of games and going into November international break, because we've not faced a formidable team after coming back from the October international break. There's not a top 10 side or a top 5 side except for Sunderland we've faced. Nottingham Forest are struggling, and it's no secret. But apart from that, which is the other big team on paper who we faced? Uh,
No, you're right. You're right. I fully expected the fixtures post international break were all winnable. That's why I'm in
yeah.
shock the way we did against Sunderland, and I'm also a little bit in shock the way we were up 3-0 against Wolves, and then Wolves almost clawed back, but ultimately we went through. Ishan, let's take the conversation to another different level. Um, what are these small digs at Maresca? He's the best thing that happened to Chelsea under Clearlake. He has made mistakes, but he's least of our problems. Okay. Ishan, look, both you and Ariam, you know, since the start of this season, I've been very upbeat. And I've been insulted, harassed, abused, you name it, everything on the live chat about it. Recently, I've put a little bit more microscope on Maresca because Ishan, I feel like being having 14 points out of the opening 9 games, Champions League, quite embarrassing the way we lost to Bayern Munich and the way we're defending, and obviously all of these red cards. I feel I can sit here and complain about the owners and directors all day long, but the window's closed. I truly feel Enzo Maresca needed to do better. Now, I'm not saying go out there and just be top everything, but where we are right now in the Premier League table, how many points we've picked up, and how we're defending and how we're picking up so many red cards, I feel like Enzo Maresca, you need to do better. Even with the squad that you have, you need to do better. So when I see a comment like this, he has made mistakes, but he's least of our problems, I'm not entirely sure whether Enzo Maresca is least of our problems. Once again, I reiterate, I'm not asking for him to get sacked. I'm not asking for any sort of crazy things, but I'm saying, are we just easily just passing, yeah, Enzo Maresca can't do anything wrong? Where in fact, I feel like he's been doing a lot of wrong, especially substitutions sometimes look a bit baffling to me. And how, Ishan, I don't know if you saw, and both to Aryaman as well, I don't know if you saw this comment from Enzo Maresca yesterday before the match started. He said, there were some comments flying around that we prepared for Sunderland thinking they were going to be a back 4, but then the match started and then they played a back 5. We didn't prepare for back 5, so khalas. Same thing he said against Man United. Oh, we didn't prepare a match against an opposition with a man down. Brother, you need to have backup plans. You can't just go in with one only plan to a match and then hope that it all... You need to think about what happens when we're a man down. What happens when we're a man down? What happens if the opposition is a man down? What happens if the opposition has changed their plan throughout the game? You can't tell me you just go with the one idea and that's it, trying to execute that. That, for me, seemed very, very weird from a manager to say that kind of stuff. Are you, Ishan, putting a little bit more microscope on Enzo Maresca, or you feel like, no, he did not get his players, he's a far better manager, he deserves to get all the best players in the world, then he can do better?
No, Miz, my microscope under Maresca was since that Man United game. From that game, I just lost it. When it comes to Maresca, I just think of that game and I feel like, brother, was it a mistake for us choosing this guy? You know why? He might have his ups and downs, but he's made mistakes as well. Again, I mean, the live chat, like I told you, and like I say this every other time, don't think about the extreme right or extreme left end. You know, this entire situation, or what if been through or are going through, probably is a mix and match of multiple areas, and everybody has to be responsible of it. Maresca has a big chunk of it, believe it or not, because he's the manager. He has to control a lot of things in the team. It's your freaking team. You'll have to control it, right? You'll have to control the mentality, the approach, the way we play, right? And of course the tactics and everything, the structure of the team, everything is on him, right? Yes, there are certain things which are out of his limit, right? With whatever the players he wants or he wanted, probably he didn't get it, understood, right? Some individual errors on the ground which he cannot do anything about, understood, right? But the majority part of the gameplay is under your control, Mr. Maresca, right? So whenever the game starts, right, and coming back to the Sunderland game, I think so it's a very fair point that you raised. He came out and said that, oh, we weren't ready with the back 5. Who was the team to score under 3 minutes? I'm sorry, wasn't it Chelsea? It took you
Yeah.
3 minutes to score, right?
Yeah.
What happened after that? What did you
Yeah.
do
What
87
happened?
minutes? You
Yeah.
weren't ready for the back five, but you definitely score under 3 minutes. So you were ready for back five, right? If you'd scored within 3 minutes, you could have scored three more in the next 87 minutes, right? But at the end of the day, look, Miz, it's clearly an excuse that he's giving to the fan base, and kind of I can uh, you know unhear it for some time. But the thing is, the way there are certain areas that it looks like you're losing the team, you have no control of. The prime for first and foremost thing is the red card situation. What is happening with the team's mentality, man? The players who looks calm, composed, or do not look erratic are making red card challenges, not just a single direct red card challenges, but multiple double yellow red card challenges. Look at Gusto. I don't think so
Mm.
he's played that erratic the way he's played under Pochettino. I've never seen Gusto do something like that under Pochettino. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He's got Liam Delap to a red card. I've never seen Delap be so erratic at so short span of time, and that too after
Mm.
coming back after an injury. What are the talks going on behind the curtains? I really know, I'm very curious to know what are the talks after that Gusto thing. Why didn't you take certain actions when none of the players could come out and do something like that which Delap did, right?
Mm.
When it comes to Manchester United, what happens when your team concedes a red card at a situation where you bring the team into a situation where everybody loses their mind? Look at that Man United game. What happened? Total capitulation. And there were so many games before that. We got a red card and just throw the entire game away. What happened? Who's there to blame after that? It's you, Maresca. Why don't you have a plan B? Just like Miss said, why don't you have a plan B? Where is your plan B? What happens if someone gets injured? One player gets injured, you're like blank. You don't know what's to be done. You put Tyreek George in left wing back, up front. I don't know what's happening. You have so many multiple adjustments that you try to show, where there are other good options available in the bench which you don't use. These are some things
Mm.
which are only Maresca is responsible of doing, and he's made some bad decisions this season, man. I cannot neglect that point. And yes, my microscope is definitely on Maresca, but the thing is he improving or not? That's the question. Is he improving or not? We have seen certain patterns now when it comes to defensive duties. We've seen the set pieces, the long balls. You haven't solved that yet. How many games more will it take for you to understand that we are vulnerable in these kind of situations? Now, who's there to teach this? You. It's the
Mm.
manager. It's not the players. It's the manager. And God forbid, if next time, guys, if next time we concede the same way, bro, it's all Maresca's fault. Because I cannot watch my team concede on the same freaking way, game in, game out, and nothing.
Sure.
No, I don't see any improvement at all. That is not allowed, man. That is not allowed at all. Right? So
Bro, look at Liverpool, for example. I think they've now picked up 6 losses in 7 games.
yeah, it's crazy.
Bro, a lot of their fans are starting to say Arne Slot out. Like,
Yeah,
because they have a standard. They're the reigning Premier League champions, and now but I don't know whether they're going to win. Like, where they're getting their next win from. Like,
yeah,
they're in such deep trouble. They got Aston Villa, who are in hot form right now. By the way, Aston Villa are in absolute hot form. And they've got Aston Villa, I believe, at Villa Park. I don't know whether it's Villa Park or Anfield, but yeah, Aston Villa could potentially beat Liverpool. And then what happens? So they're looking to possibly get rid of Arne Slot. And as I said, I'm not saying to get rid of Enzo Maresca. What I'm saying is what Ishan just said. It's not about just the players developing. And I want to bring in Aryaman here. Aryaman, it's not about just the players developing. I think manager needs to develop as well. It's not just sporting directors need to develop, owners need to be better, players. I think Enzo Maresca needs to be better as well. And he needs to be better more frequently for us. What do you think?
Right, absolutely, Ms. Enzo Maresca needs to also step up his game. And yeah, we're all not implying here, chat, that we want to see Maresca go? Definitely not. But in football, things can change very, very quickly. And just like Ms. mentioned, that it does not take long for Liverpool's fans to then now believe that Slot might not be the guy for them, despite him winning the Premier League for them last season, right? So it does not really take a lot of time for uh, your entire mood to either be amazing or really take a tumble, right? So I think uh, there has to be a game plan for certain scenarios, is what I could gather from the discussion that even Ishan had around the scenario, that you could be a man down, but the other team could also be a man down. There could be a scenario where a specific position, where a particular team likes to deploy a five at the back, despite you not having that intelligence from all the games that you've watched, analyzing them, that they go out with a back three or a back four. All hypothetical, but structures may change. The way that teams try to attack you might change. We've already seen that in the first 9 games of the season so far, that how teams are finding very, very innovative and different ways to break up the opposition, to find that result. A lot of the teams seem hungry. Aston Villa have picked up, I think there's been one draw, but then they've had four wins in a row. And then there are these teams who are now coming in and they will put up a challenge, they will put up a fight. And if we aren't up for it, uh, it's going down. It really is going down. We can be blessed that uh, you might not expect to see another capitulation. Fingers crossed for Spurs, but I personally feel should be unscathed until the November international break. We'll see what happens after that. 9th is when we, I think, break off for the international break, and then we return around the 20th. But a lot has to be changed in the interim. We've got to use those 10-12 days in the international break. Whatever players are back with us at Cobham who don't end up going to their international teams, and really have to work on the very basics. I think also another thing that it's important to talk about the fact that when you talk about attacking side of the play, we've looked much better when you look at our team play with a very fast transition style of play. Even the goal that we created yesterday, the beautiful link up that you were able to see, between Bjornanote, Gittins, and then involving the number 9, Tyreek George. That second goal was a thing of beauty. That reminded
Yeah, I
me
think
of
it
the old
started. It started all the way from the back, playing out
all
from
the
the
way.
back, and then it. But you know what? More, I mean, that is obviously very fantastic, and it lovely to see that Enzo Maresca has been able to develop that that build up, which eventually leads to a goal. But what I was really impressed with yesterday was the way we pressed. We pressed so well up front. We made them choke. A couple of mistakes. That Estevao finish, that was so beautiful. And I think also Andre Santos's goal was off the back of a press, which I think Gittins ended up laying off to Andre Santos. So, yeah, look, something Enzo Maresca obviously needs to do better. There's things that he has done better, but there's a lot of things that he needs to do.
Well, Miz,
far
before
better.
before we move on to the next one, I'd just like to go back to some of the results that we had and just get a quick roundup. Yeah, and we're talking, of course, talking about Maresca and how he's trying to cope up with the mistakes and try to not repeat them, try to be better, improve. Let's look at the last 10 to 11 result myths and try to analyze, right? And guys in the live chat as well, right? Aryaman Miz, let me know, where did you find the confidence in the team? Okay, I'm talking about the last 11 games. Okay, we'll go back to the Brentford one. We remember since the turnaround, right? That infamous or long throws spammings, and 2-2 we drew against Brentford, and since then our confidence derailed. So 2-2 against Brentford, right? Next game it was against Bayern. We lost that 3-1. We all know how that game went, right? Total annihilation by Bayern Munich. Next game, Man United, total capitulation, right? We know how that game went. Okay, that next game it was Lincoln City. We won 2-1, but it was against Lincoln City. Okay,
they bullied us. They bullied
us, right? Yeah, you'd remember, Miss. And it's against Lincoln City, and 2-1. We just somehow managed, but Lincoln City, remember the name. Next game we lost against Brighton. That was total thrashing by Brighton.
After being 1-0 up and then
Yeah.
red card, and then we lost. Yeah.
Yes, red card. We lost 3-1, absolute thrashing, right? The next game, Benfica, we won it 1-0, but remember the fact that Jose just, took charge by that
Yeah.
time, and it seemed like he was railing.
Unconvincing. Yeah.
It was an unconvincing win, right? Next game,
And
it
that
was
had an own
Liverpool.
goal. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
That
That was
that
also
goal
one goal.
against
100%.
Benfica was an own goal. It wasn't us on
100%.
merit. It was
Yes,
one cross coming in, deflected into the net.
correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, own goal against Benfica, right? Or else it could have been a draw. Next game, Liverpool. We won 2-1. Fantastic match. But do not forget the fact that it was against Liverpool. We all know how Liverpool is playing, right? We definitely beat the champions, but not the best team on the best day, right? So, keep that in mind as well. Definitely one of the best games in the season till now.
Yeah.
But
Definitely one of our
remember,
best games.
yeah, but remember, Liverpool is not on their best days, right? So keep
Yeah.
that in mind as well. Next game, Nottingham Forest, we got unsacked. We know how poor of form Nottingham was.
Bro,
So
Nottingham
we
Forest
definitely,
should have scored at least 2 goals in the first half.
yeah, 100%. So that 3-0, that scoreboard just not justify the game how it panned out, right? But again, Nottingham Forest was also on a very poor run of form, probably one of the worst forms in the past couple of years, right? Next game, Ajax, we won it convincingly 5-1, but if it wasn't for the red card that Ajax had got, I don't know how things would have been, because that red card derailed their confidence, and that's how we got up to that 5-1 score. We played really well.
Mhm.
I'm not taking anything from that. It was convincing in terms of gameplay, but it was that condition where they got a red card. If not, I don't know what could have been, right? Moving ahead, we lost against Sunderland. Right now, taking back to the Ajax game, if we were so good in that, so convincing and so overpowered, what happens against Sunderland? Right? We lost 2-1 against Sunderland and followed back by Wolves. Definitely a superb first half. What happened in the second half? Capitulation. And very not very confident enough. So I've just read you guys the last
Mm.
11 games. You tell me, where do I find confidence out of? Where do
Just
I
the one
say,
game. Just the one game. Liverpool.
yeah,
That's
where
it.
do I say, and that too, Liverpool is not on the best days and best form. If Miz,
Correct.
you would say that, "Oh, I beat the last year's Liverpool," I would be like with my open chest and say that, bro, we beat the best team on the best day, right? But it
Yeah.
wasn't the best team on the best day. So, and look at Liverpool, the way they are losing like 6 games, 7 games in a row. I don't
This
think so. You
is
can take
why
very much confidence out of it.
this is why I did a video a few days ago saying, let's talk Enzo Maresca. I keep reiterating, I started the season feeling very upbeat, feeling very, very happy, and backing the team. And I'm still backing the team. I still feel we should be competing, but it's not going to happen. We are not going to compete for the Premier League, but we should be, I feel. But we're not going to be competing for the Premier League. I don't know how deep we're going to go into the Champions League. I'm not sure. This is why I feel like, as Ishan just said, last 11 games, and we can only pick one match out of the 11 that is actually good enough. So we've got Spurs coming up. I'm telling you, I don't even think a draw is good enough at this. 15 points out of out of first 10 games. I'm not sure if that's a good start to the season. Lads, what do you think, Ariaman? If we get a draw, let's say, argument's sake, 15 points out of the first 10 games, I think that's very mediocre.
That is very mid-table, Miss. And last season, after 9 games, we had 5 wins, 17 points, 2 draws, 2 losses. So far, it's been 5 negative results, 3 losses, 2 draws, 14 points on the board. With a draw against Spurs, as you say, it'll be 15 points, but that will leave us a lot of points adrift the top 4 benchmark that you see. I think what's the top 4 benchmark must be around 17, 18 points. So that will leave us around good 4 or 5 points behind, because then you'd expect the top 4 to at least pick up those 3 points, right? So then they go ahead of you by a good 5 to 7 point margin, and that's not where you want to be before you've started November. You haven't even started November yet. Let's not forget that. You've got the entire Christmas period. You've got November run of games, although not too many, because you have the long international break. But yeah, uh, lots of football to be played. But if this is, and thanks Ishan, that was eye opening, those 11 games, and we could just count to one emphatic, semi convincing victory. It was not a pure convincing victory, it was semi convincing victory, because it was a narrow 2-1 win. Could have gone either way, right? Could have ended as a draw, and then that wouldn't qualify as a semi convincing win, right? It's
Yeah.
dropping point. So that's where we're at.
100%, man. 100%, to be honest. Asad, thank you so much for the super chat. Bournemouth, Villa, Sunderland, United above us. That's on that twat. It is a bit shocking to see some of these teams ahead of us. CFC, thank you so much for the super chat. Keep the blue flag flying high. Is that 2 Bs? Yeah. Forced to support the Diaper FC. Please change the stadium and name the club. At least I can have peace. Once was CFC that considered 15 goals a season. Look, no one's saying to replicate the 15 goals. That was just a phenomenal situation with some with a top manager who focused a lot on defending as well, and with the defenders that we had at that time, just unbelievable. So it's a combination of manager, structure of defense, and the caliber of our defense all put together. Creates a very, very great situation. All right, lads, we're going to wrap things up. We've talked about a lot of things, mostly concerns, because right now I feel like there is a lot of concerns. Obviously, there was some good stuff. I'd like to talk about Gittins, but maybe I'll do that on a separate video. But I've always said in recent times that, now he's our player. So let's back him. And he started to show some little bit of good quality in recent matches. And I'm not surprised that finally he's been rewarded with a goal. He really should have been rewarded with a goal against Ajax. He played a very good match against Ajax. He dropped man of the match. He should have got so many more assists. The amount of brilliant crosses he was doing. And against Wolves, he got himself a banger of a goal, and I think 2 assists as well. So we can park that for a separate video. Before we leave, Ishan, quickly, because we're not going to talk to each other. Oh, I think unless you guys are watching the match, maybe we can do a pre-match show before the Spurs. But anyway,
Yeah,
if
we'll do pre-show,
for some reason you guys are unavailable, Ishan, thoughts on the Spurs game? Feeling confident? Not confident?
No, man. Look, I'm not confident, but also happy the fact that Spurs lost against Newcastle in this, and then they're knocked out of the cup. So they're also in a bit of ups and downs, and then that has been Spurs' story as well. Throughout the season, that there are some games that they play really good, and there are some games which they don't. We have an upper hand, that there is a psychological advantage that we have, that it's against Spurs, and we like kind of win against them every time. This should be the case this time around as well. I cannot take a loss at all by any means, but I also would like to focus on a clean sheet this time, because this is coming out to be one of the most important things that we'd want. But I think so we should be able to win this. But like you said, miss, like you always say, right, we'll have to lock ourselves into this game, or else Spurs are very good now to grab chances that comes their way, and Thomas Frank is doing exceptionally well in that area at least. So we'll have to be locked in, man, or else it's going to be a very different talking the next time we talk around.
No, absolutely right. Aryaman, you've kind of alluded that you're not very confident. I mean, is that how you feel as well moving into that Spurs game?
Yeah, not super confident, but I have to back the Blues. We have to win this. Yeah, come on. It's the London derby.
Yeah.
Reputation on the line, guys. Come on. So let's hope for a clean sheet. Like Ishan said, there's a case to be made here. We need a clean sheet. Badly so. But in terms of predictions, I'd say 2-1 Chelsea win. But this probably might just be one of those games that you will count on your finger and say, yes, apart from that Liverpool win, this has been a convincing statement win for us. Even if that is a 2-1 win, but I don't want to see silly mistakes. And I don't want to see another red card. 5 games without a red card, please. That's all we ask.
I can't believe we're now at that level.
But I won't count Karabakh in that. I will not be counting Karabakh in those 5 games, please. That's embarrassing. That's putting your standards very, very low. So
I can't believe we're at a situation where we are having to having to beg Chelsea Football Club to give us 5 games without a red card. Like that's where the situation has come to, where it's almost like it's a given. You're gonna get a red card. Like, just tell me who is it gonna be this time? Do you know what I mean? So, look, I'm confident moving into the Tottenham game, but you just never know, man. I wanted to see a little bit more from the team, and I feel like the team has let me down a little bit. But let's see what happens over the next few fixtures, and see if we can actually put some momentum and some good form together. I think that's what it comes down to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content, and make sure you guys subscribe to Ishan and Ariman. The links are in the description. If you just go to the description, you'll see both their channel links. Make sure you subscribe to their channel and give them a lot of love. You shall see me back again later tonight, wrapping up the latest news. And from here on, I'm back. As I said, back home here in Sydney, Australia. And the content's going to be coming through thick and fast. Until then, everyone, take care. See ya. Bye.
Take care, folks. Keep the boost.